Hello. I started a couple minutes late because my computer was being difficult. And I dropped my pencil. Where did it go? I don't even know. There we go. Okay. So, hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. I'm going to work on a comic page right here. Why is it? Hey, why are we doing the autofocus business? I changed you to static focus. All right, let's try to fix that real quick before we get going too far. I'm working on an Age of Night page this evening. I'm going to fix my focus issue real quick because that's very annoying for it to keep on being like whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, Hungry, thanks so much for joining me. But yes, once I get the focus fixed, I'm going to be working on chapter 27, page 34 of Age of Night. We haven't done an Age of Night page in a little while because the last I Am the First page took a while for us to get through. So it's been a minute since we've done this. All right. Why are you doing this? Just stay where I put you. There we go. Okay. I think it should be fixed now. It's not. Okay. Okay. We fixed it. We're good. We're good. All right. So I have my comic page here. All of my panels are already ruled out. I have my perspective grid laid down. I have my script and my thumbnails off to the side here, but I don't want to show them to you because this is the second to last page of this chapter. I'm going to start roughing it in and I'll talk a little bit about where I'm at with Age of Night stuff and this chapter. So this is the chapter 27 is the second to last chapter in volume 4, and this is the second to last page in that chapter. And this is why volume 4 has been taking me so long to finish, because a lot of chapters in this volume have been over 30 pages, so it takes a long time. It's just kind of what happens when you get to like this point in a story. Things just start taking a while. Hello, someone's saying. Thanks so much for joining us. Copy Rock, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you're doing. So first off, I'm just gonna kind of rough stuff in on this page, make sure that I leave plenty of space for my word balloons. All right, I have a reference image open from earlier in this chapter because I don't remember what certain things are supposed to look like. This is going to be a series of scribbles that does not look like much of anything until we get it a little bit more solid, but So this particular panel, I'm actually going to be reproducing it in these other two panels. So it's going to be kind of like a static shot where the action is changing, but the background is staying completely the same. Your view of it is staying completely the same. So I'm not going to bother roughing it in on these two, because basically what I'm going to do a little later after I finish roughing everything else in is I'm going to come back, and once this is finished, I'm going to trace it and light box it into the other two. So those are just going to get left alone for right now. Hi, Spud. Thanks so much for joining me. I've got another word balloon here. I don't like that. I don't like that for this particular shot. Hope everyone is doing well, or as well as they can, considering. I still don't like, what is this pose? What is this weird, awkward pose you're doing here, my guy? No, it's just awkward. I don't like it. All right. It's just not working. We're just going to start over. It's just looking awkward. It's a half shrug. Yeah, it's just like a, Unless that is also your reply to how you're doing, which is fair. It's a fair response. Okay, I think I just put his shoulder a little too far back. Like I want a little bit of a tilt to his shoulders, but that was a little too extreme. That's more like it. I was talking about the pose. Okay. You mentioned doing separate thumbnailing in the past. Do you ever do those on stream? I don't. Mostly because it requires an intense amount of brain power. I could not possibly talk and actively thumbnail. I can explain like why I thumbnailed things a certain way after the fact, but I couldn't like thumbnail and also try to be at all entertaining. I literally can't even like listen to anything with words when I'm trying to figure out my thumbnails. I have to just listen to like instrumental music because it's just like I have no RAM to spare when I'm doing that. All right, now we've got this cool little, this is going to be a cool little scene right here. Big old rocks. Big old rocks everywhere. It's actually useful information. I was concerned I was having an overly difficult time with it, but it's more common than I thought. No, it is. It's super hard. It's super, super difficult, because there's a lot of different things that you're trying to balance, right? You're trying to figure out the visual storytelling, like, are you communicating clearly what needs to happen in this panel? Are you making it work as far as the flow of information on the page? Okay, but if you wanna end on this action, how are you gonna get there in the space that you have? Are you making the best use of, like, each individual panel and then each like panel as a smaller part of the page? Are you guiding the viewer's eye across the page? Like there's just so many different little things to all try to piece together. It's like a really intense puzzle. So it takes a lot of thought. Hey, Story Comic is here. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Actually, I want this. I want him a little further in here. So we're gonna make him a little bit smaller so he can be like stepping into here. And fit. And fit with the space I gave him. All right, let's see. So now we're gonna do our fun little perspective tricks. So if I follow this back to here and down here, he's like that tall. Okay. So I could eyeballed it pretty close. All right. Hooray. It's roughed in. Thankfully, this page seems to be pretty not bad, but it was like the last one that I could really do on stream for this chapter that would not give a lot away. So that's what I decided to do. This is what gets tricky when I'm toward the end of a chapter. And it's like, I want to still draw things for you guys, but I don't want to give away everything that's going to happen later. It's a problem. So we're going to sharpen our little pencil here and start tightening up what we have. Fix the shape of that eyeball a little bit. Balthazar making a rather crazed face here, like he does, especially lately. All right, I just have sort of a weird placeholder shape for his mouth, so we're going to fix that. One benefit of using some digital applications, I use Krita, which has a nice feature called the Assistant tool. You can run perspective rulers and additional vanishing points and grids. Oh, that is handy. What is that? What is that weird curve? What is happening here? Of course, Balthazar also just looks very silly without his goatee. His face just really needs it. It just looks not right without it. Just doesn't look right. There, now it looks a little bit more like him. That's much better. He just really needs that goatee. He looks very silly without it. All right, we'll do the hair in just a minute. I gotta move this image out of my way. Make sure I'm still actually on the screen. I think a lot of that is probably going to get covered by its hair, so I'm not going to get too involved in that yet. Clean some of this under drawing. All right. Oh, so much fabulous hair. Balthazar, you're looking so fabulous and crazed. Like you do. All right. Hair. No, there's not really a background on this one because this is just Balthazar monologuing. This is a monologuing panel. Does it need a background? No, it's just Balthazar monologuing. What comic / manga or other artists in general would you say influenced you the most? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm always reading lots of different stuff and like trying to learn from everything that I read, if that makes sense. I'm trying to also come up with like a coherent answer because yeah, I get stuff from a lot of different stuff. I think uh storytelling wise, as far as choosing to do something like what I am doing here, obviously, no, you're good. I'm sharpening my pencil. As far as what I'm working on here, I think it's pretty obvious that something like Bone was a big influence, and that it's a fantasy epic. It's a giant fantasy epic, and also it's like, but it's not super like grimdark or anything. Like some parts of Bone are a little bit more serious than others, but especially reading it uh when I was in like early high school, it was just kind of like, oh, so fantasy doesn't have to necessarily conform to like it doesn't have to be Lord of the Rings, and it doesn't have to be something like grim and gritty or anything. Like you can have kind of this light, fun fantasy not like that's kind of friendly for a lot more ages, but not necessarily like super kidsy either. I don't know. That was definitely a big influence in what I'm doing here. Um, and artistically, it was a big influence too. Much earlier on, James O'Barr's The Crow was a huge influence on like how my art style developed and a lot of the things that I tried to incorporate as far as like incorporating a lot of like really um heavy tones and dark and light and focusing on getting really good figures and that sort of thing. Hey Keith. Hey dear go. So glad to have you all here. Doing pretty good. We're trucking. Yeah, I reread it a couple years ago because I had a chance to meet James O'Barr at a convention, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna reread The Crow before I go and meet him." And it's one of those things that like I don't think that if I had read it for the first time as an adult that I would have enjoyed it as much. I think that emotionally it was a lot more resonant with the place I was at as like a teenager. Um, but it was still like undeniably a really powerful piece that I can, when I'm rereading it, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I can see this influence all over what I do. And yeah, James O'Barr was really cool when I met him. He was very sweet. He was very nice. And he signed my book, and I bought a really cool print from him of the crow that was based on Michelangelo's David, and he signed that too, and he was just very cool. All right, we've got little vines and things all over here. Get some like dead vines with like the sad hanging dried leaves hanging off of them. All right, I need that reference image back. Come back, reference image. I need you. It's refreshing when you meet people that you admire and they're actually pleasant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had pretty good luck that like most of the people that I've actually met, like most of the people of note, famous-ish people I've ever met have been like pretty cool, but I've also heard a lot of horror stories about how that is not always the case. All right, we've got this freaky little fellow is here again. Or I should say still. You guys are so weird. Are you heading to SnowCon? I sure am. I'm actually on the SnowCon staff, so I'm going to be there not just running games, but also making sure that things are running smoothly overall. So I'm running a couple of games. And I'm also, like, since I'm on the staff, I'll be there checking people in and just like generally being present if people have questions or concerns or anything. I think we're sold out of Saturday passes, but we do still have some Sunday passes if you want to stop on by, Dirigo. Well, it'd be cool if you do. I will be there. You should say hi if you decide to come out. It's at the Black Bear Inn in Orono, which is right off the highway. Duck even offered to buy you a ticket. Aw, that's nice. That's nice of him. Yeah, Sunday I'll be running Deimos Academy, assuming anyone signs up for my game. Well, I shouldn't say running. Deimos is like a GM-less game, but it's like if the spots don't fill up, then I'll also be playing, and if they do fill up, then I'll basically just be facilitating as like, "Hey, I'm actually familiar with this game. I'll just kind of cue you guys as to how to run through this, but I'm not gonna like, tell you what happens because that's not how that game works." Hey, WF1187. Thanks so much for joining me. All right. Now we got to do this wall of foliage. Let's make a couple of big pieces first. Been a while. Yeah, haven't seen you on here for quite a while. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. Glad I was able to join us tonight. My computer was having some kind of fit, so I started a few minutes late because it was just like, no. What if I didn't do anything you asked me to do? Like it's not helpful, computer. How about you do the things I asked you to do? All right. Wall of foliage is happening. User, hey computer, do a thing. Computer. I'm gonna not do that. Yeah, precisely. Precisely. That was exactly the situation that was going on. And I will admit that I am not like super tech savvy. Like I can manage, but I'm not I'm not great at it. And I get very frustrated when it starts doing stuff like that. Okay, this is going to be a whole lot going on here. I'm going to try to keep it like a few like high profile bits in the front and then a lot more of like just kind of background squiggles. Okay. There's that panel. Like I said previously, I'm going to do these two because it's a static shot, all three of these. So when I'm done with the rest of this, I'll go back and I will trace this panel and lightbox it onto the other two. So some of the action will be changing, but like these rocks will still be here, and that this is what will be in this frame. So we're going to come back to these in a little bit. So moving on down here. Hold this still for a second. Piece of tape. I sharpen my pencil again. So yeah, this is I'm almost done with this chapter, which is kind of wild. There's only one more chapter left for volume 4. And so the plan is for volume 4 to come out later this year. I would like to be able to have it, like I don't have a date yet. I would like to be able to do like I did for volume 3, where the like print edition comes out before the pages update online. which of course involves me getting significantly ahead in pages produced. Um, and the little wrinkle with that right now is that I'm not done with I Am the First yet. So I need to finish I Am the First before I can even begin to worry about what I'm doing with volume 4 of Age of Night. So that's the thing, is that yeah, volume 4 will come out later this year. When later this year? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I can't even hope to guess when exactly until I have finished my outstanding obligation of needing to finish I Am the First, which we're making good progress again now. We were kind of stalled there for a while, but that's moving along again. Um, and we're trying to, recalibrate and get into a good rhythm to finish it up in a timely manner because we're late. We're late. Which, it happens. It's life and stuff. But I don't like being in that position. So, I'm trying real hard to fix it as fast as I can, but I can still only draw comics so fast. I only have so many hours in the day to draw comics. How is Deimos coming along? Deimos is good. We have everything like done as far as all of the stuff like written and all the assets produced like on our side. It's currently in the nebulous, the printer is maybe doing things, we hope, kind of zone. Because like we released we released the digital version of it, and it's just like, well, okay, and we sent the digital version to all our backers, and so it's like, yeah, you could play it now, but it's not like in a physical form yet. And the thing that's so frustrating about when you're trying to get something printed, especially when you have to like print something in a large quantity, and so you're like doing it overseas, or you're just having to wait for like a larger printer company to worm your way into their queue, and it's just like you can't do anything. Literally can't do anything other than wait. I can't, we can't do anything other than wait and be like, so, yeah, you printing our stuff? And the printer goes, yeah, 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 eventually. And we just have to go, okay. So yeah, at that point where it's just kind of like, okay, well now we just have to wait and see when it exists physically. Right, yeah. It's frustrating because like people are like, how's it coming? And we're like, I mean, fine. Oh, so is it done? Well, sort of. I'm not sure what's going on with Zeke's face there. I'm not 100% feeling it, but we can fix it. We can still fix it. That's okay. Yeah, I don't know if you've gotten to see the digital version of Deimos, but it is so pretty. John Merchant did the layout. And he did just a bang up job. It looks so good. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to get the actual physical versions of it. I gotta look at what my characters are doing here. Oh yeah, you're supposed to be wearing a backpack. Oops, I forgot all about that. See, this is why it's good to go back and check your stuff sometimes. Totally forgot. Balthazar is supposed to have a backpack on here. All right, let's firm up these faces a little bit. Clean these up. What time are we at? 8:46. When did that happen? Goodness. I did start a couple minutes late, so I'll probably go a little bit later than normal, but not by like a lot, because I still feel like an hour is a good amount of time for me to stream, do this situation. And then everybody should get up and stretch and get some water. I know I need to stretch. Why does this eye look so much different than the other one? What did I do? I think I just made his iris like way too big. Looks like his irises are too far apart. Yeah, they sure were. I always forget you're in a different time zone. I'm surprised by how late you say it is. Yes, it is. I am on the East Coast and it is almost 9 o'clock here, which is not like super late, but I have to get up at incredibly early every morning for getting everyone off to school. So I've been up since 5:30 this morning, and I'm up since 5:30 most mornings, and that means that by 9 o'clock in the evening, I don't have much brain left. And I'm just about done, and I'm flinging my eraser across my desk. All right, that's looking more like it. I don't know what's going on with Zeke's face back here. His eyes are just kind of like wandering off. Just wandering off in different directions. Just noticed it's a blue pencil. Yes, there is a reason for that. So the reason for that is that since I'm going to ink these pages in black ink, if I were using gray pencil, I would have to erase super, super thoroughly in order to get all of the underdrawing to completely disappear when I scanned it in, which is really difficult to do. And I would dare say next to impossible sometimes, especially not without like digging up some of the ink work that you do. I mean, if I like were better at penciling and didn't like start digging at the paper when I get frustrated and bearing down so much, maybe it wouldn't be a problem. But that's not the reality we live in. We live in a reality where sometimes I am a little heavy-handed. So so the blue, when I scan this in, I'm just going to ink right on top of it. And I don't have a finished page up here because I just cleaned off my desk recently. But when I ink right on top of the blue and then scan this in, then in Photoshop, I can just pull all the blue out. I can just take all of the color out and leave just the black. So that way I can make my underdrawing disappear without having to completely erase every stitch of it on the page. Got one of the pencils and a sharpener somewhere around here. Yep. Yeah, so it's an adaptation of the practice of doing the non-reprographic blue, but this is not non-reprographic blue because non-reprographic blue, like a lot of different like draftspeople and comic artists used to use that because it wouldn't be picked up by cameras or scanners. But at this point, cameras and scanners are too good, and there's no such thing as non-reprographic blue anymore. Also, non-reprographic blue wrecked my eyes. I used it for a few years in college and then had to get reading glasses like 20 years earlier than I was supposed to have to. So I hate that thing. I hate looking at it, and it doesn't even work. So I don't use that. I use this nice dark blue, which is called layout blue, which is nice and easy to see, but still easy to grab out in Photoshop. That's why you can't really like find non-reprographic blue pencils as much as you used to be able to because they're not truly non-reprographic anymore. So a lot of people have moved away from using them. A lot of people have moved away from using them just because a lot of people work digitally, but those of us who don't work super digitally all the time, like for drawing and everything, just a lot of us just don't bother using the non-repro blue. They also tended to be like weirdly waxy. Nope, it doesn't. Ironically, I use Procreate now and have for years, and have been in Photoshop with a Wacom before that, but I still do all my underdrawing in cyan. Yeah. Yeah, no, non-repro blue hasn't really been truly effective for a while. Like it would still work on something like a photocopier, but most scanners and cameras are too good now and will absolutely pick it up. Yeah, there's something to be said, Copy Rock, for just the force of habit of like, well, my underdrawing's supposed to be blue. So I'm just gonna do it that way. But yeah, that bright cyan color just, oh my gosh, it kills my eyes. I wear blue blocker glasses when I'm working on the computer because that bright blue just freaking kills me. And after working with it for like a year in college, I was like, oh, wow, I need reading glasses now because it hurts to look at things. All right, we got to get his little laces on the front of his tunic here. I'm going to make his little row of eyelets so that I can do the laces without totally losing my place. Poor Zeke, just always having such a hard time. Where does he have like a... No, I don't know where he pulled that knife from. I think he pulled it from his bag. Yeah, I think that's what I I think that's what I established. Looking back at previous pages with these guys in this chapter and being like, what were they doing? What was happening? I don't remember. All right. We've been on for about 50 minutes, so I'm going to do the YouTube things while I finish up this panel. Remind you that I'm Amanda Call. I'm working on Age of Night, my webcomic. Yes, it is a plot knife, internet guy. Copy Rock says, even worse, I made a pencil that has a texture of non-photo blues. I was talking about this recently because my friend was whacking why is all my artwork blue and super sketchy? Because that's just the way that you do it. Yeah, I figured out it was asking. But you say on one of the VCG shows your husband plays 40K, and does he play locally at that store? Yes, and yes, he does. He plays locally at that store because where else you gonna play? Oh, it's James. Okay, hi James. Thanks for joining me, James. That makes more sense now. Okay, yes, I'll send you birthday information. You could tell me what you want for your birthday, man. Anyway, totally lost my train of thought. Yes, Algash. Oh, yeah, he was there. He was there on crafting night. He came home like super late, and I was like, "Where? I thought you got eaten by bears. Like you're home way later than normal." And he was like, "Oh yeah, they had a crafting night and they stayed open late, so I stayed." And I'm like, "Okay." Did not realize that was a thing. Totally lost my train of thought like 3 times over. But yeah, Lagesh, that's where he goes to play just because there's not many other options. So you should definitely swing by at some point. I agree with you, it is not my ideal place to hang out either, but what you gonna do?
Who are you sending my way?
Virgo. He's one of the... My husband's asking who am I talking about? He's one of the viewers.
Yeah.
He lives in Bangor.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you play or?
I don't know. He says 40K scares me and my wallet. That's fair. Legit. Oh, Clifton. Okay, so Bangor area. Not super far away. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna add some little viney bits and stuff here. because there's supposed to be like viney bits and stuff in this area. And then I swear I'm going to be wrapping up here and doing my spiel. This is my comic, Age of Night. You should read it. It's at ageofnight.com. I update every Wednesday. Well, just about every Wednesday. We're going to say almost every Wednesday. And the whole thing is available for free to read on the internet. 27 chapters of fantasy adventure goodness. But if you want to help support me and my comic making efforts, I have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/ageofnight. You can buy copies of the book from Skirmisher's website, skirmisher.com. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them from me at a local convention. All sorts of fun options. Yeah, I have like a Ko-Fi shop or coffee shop, however you want to say it, under my name, Amanda Call. So you got options if you want to help support what I do here. You can find me on other social medias, Twitter at Age of Night. There's Age of Night has a Facebook page, Instagram and TikTok at Amanda Call Art. I did upload the finishing inks of the last page of I'm the First that I was working on the stream. I did upload that on Instagram as a reel and TikTok and part of it on Twitter because Twitter wouldn't let me upload the whole thing because it sucks. Does my husband ever make comics? No. He doesn't draw. He does write. He does write fiction, but he doesn't draw. What else? Yeah, I do this YouTube thing just about every week on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you should subscribe. And next week, I'm going to come back and I'm going to keep working on this. So over the course of this stream, we got these 4 panels roughed in. I have 3 panels fully penciled, and I have 1 panel with a really good, strong, rough start to it, which we will work on next week. So everybody have a great week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. And I will see you next time. Bye.